Yes, it is. All right, you want to get started?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do that. So I see that we have a decently high level demon slayer here.
Yeah, I just reached 275 yesterday, so it's
Okay.
just the threshold to not to get damage deducted by Black Mage, right?
Yeah, exactly. And how's that?
Uh,
How's that feel? 275.
it's I mean, after 270, it's very dreadful, so every level doesn't feel that much of an accomplishment. So
Okay.
it's just the same process over and over again.
I guess because the max level is 300 now, it doesn't have that same impact as when it was max level.
Yeah.
Okay, but I guess it's a good goal, right? Less like no final damage reduction on the important stages for the Black Mage. That's pretty nice. And you're
Yeah, I'm just saying that my ARC still lacking, so I still have 20% final damage deduction on my, yeah, so but I'm still not shy from practicing Black Mage with my guild, so
okay.
just yeah.
How's that going?
Um like we just started 2 weeks ago and we can reach to phase in the middle of phase 3. Like half of the party can reach to the middle of phase 3. So
Okay.
we're still pushing it to if we can all the members can get to phase 4, then we'll start trying.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Like,
glad you actually have
yeah.
practice mode. That's a really beneficial thing.
Yeah. But the hard thing is just to try to gather all the people at the same time. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's people who really want it, and there's people who really want it. So some people just like want it when when they can make it, and some people are like, I'm making time every single day. We're doing like several runs a day to really like power through this. Parties can really differ a lot based on their like training regimen and their time available for sure. But in general, you're making good progress.
Like phase 3, I'm still like being like very turtley. I don't say it right. I'm just laying down half of the time because whenever I got I think there's like a curse system. If you get touched by both of the form of the Black Mage attack, you'll get 1 life deducted. So like the pushes, I think it's white labeling. Yeah, and then so every time you just get touched and then 1 life just gone.
Yes, that's when you have the dark curse already, you have to so it is safer in general to to like duck a little bit earlier and stay ducked a little bit longer, but you don't want to duck too long because then you're out of range for the attack on the Black Mage, and then he will actually summon more super lasers, and then that actually makes it a little bit more dangerous for your team. So in the beginning, it's all about like everyone learning like how many attacks can you do in between a push or a kick, we call it usually, because he's like he's kind of like doing a jumping jack in the air, right? And then you just kind of get knocked around. But it's really, the key is really to have everyone be on top of the fight and really on top of it and stick to him, and then just stay safe and just not greeting too many attacks essentially, because most of the time the parties have the damage way before they clear. It's just about not getting too crazy on trying to burst, and you have Bane, thankfully, right? So you can at least do that full burst without anything going on during that.
Yeah, like a 5-second iframe or 8-second.
Yeah, that's decently, and you have a regular iframe, but you probably mostly use your Dark Metamorphosis for the damage, but it has a really good uptime, right? So you can use that every now and then. And
I do put my Morphosis on my pet also buff, so it's the uptime, it's only like half of the time.
Wait, we say the uptime is half of the time? What do you
I
mean?
like the only time I can use that iframe, it's only half of the time, because the auto buff, I mean, the time that I can use the Morphosis, it's only half of the time.
Okay.
It's not because I put it on my pet auto skill.
Well, you still have your Ravens for like the down FMAs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you always have another backup as a DS, so that's good.
Yeah. We have like 3.
And you've got Chaos Lock can also be pretty good, right? So as soon as he's finished with a kick, you just Chaos Lock onto him, and you don't have to walk through all the things in between. The main thing is really like, yeah, you're basically, the standard is that you're always going to be under Black Curse, because those blue lasers will most likely hit you. You don't want to respect the blue lasers too much. You want to stay on top of him. You want everyone to stay on top of him, and then roughly in the right spot, a little bit on the right side, under the, you know, under the ring of Saturn in the back kind of thing, right?
Okay, so
and if everyone stays on top of him and everyone doesn't stay ducked too long, you shouldn't get too many super lasers, and then that would make the run way safer.
okay, just the main principle is just try to stick in the realm of like it's just like Magnus, just within the the realm of his presence, and then the super laser just trigger last.
Yeah, he can summon his own super lasers, but those patterns are typically pretty, like, they're more spread out, and there's not as many of them. If he does like instant super lasers without really an animation, and there's a lot of them and they're like overlapping a lot, is because someone either got knocked back and then that person got targeted for the kick, but they're out of range, or to try to target someone who was just untargetable, so either ducking or possibly in an iframe, but typically you don't want to use iframes too much unless, because you want to save them for the down FMAs, right? So
Yeah.
if you're getting a lot of super lasers, it's because people need to be more diligent on staying right on top of the boss. And like you said, like with Magnus, you do more damage by being inside that circle, and that last shrink is really, really small. So you have to have like the what's the word? The discipline to really stay right on top of him for those two reasons. One, because you need to keep committing that damage even when the shrink is very small, but also because the more you're away from him, the more he will start moving around. I don't know if your party has a slow.
I think we have an isolated mage.
Oh yeah, that's a decent slow. Yeah, if you, especially if you run with a party without a slow, he will like move out of position a lot, right? And if he moves out of position too much, he walks too far to the right, then you won't be able to like up jump and float there from the rollings and stuff like that. So then the right side becomes very spooky, and you might have to reset by moving all the way to the left. And then in moving to the left, you move far away from him, so you get super lasers from the distance, right? So you want to make sure that you don't have to do that too much because it slows down the run. So try to stay in the pocket and really try to just like walk the patterns and duck, but don't try to like stay ducked the whole time, because then you might be causing the boss to summon more super lasers that actually then end up getting people killed. So it's all about ducking the animation and then getting back up, and then, you know, walking all the appropriate patterns. But yeah, assume that you're probably going to be always in Black Curse because of the blue lasers. So everything that's White Curse is the most important stuff to dodge, right? So it's the kick, the rollings, and then the falling whites, and the breaking platforms is also White Curse.
Okay, alright. Thanks for the advice, but I only like seen Black Mage phase 2 times so far. All the things that you said, I'm just trying to imagining it.
Yeah. How's the phase 2? Does phase 2 feel good?
Phase 2, I think the only part that I have trouble dodging is the FMA, in every 1 minute. So you have to keep track of it, and then and look. I think the buffering time of the FMA is a little bit too short. Either you have to dodge middle, left, or right.
Yeah.
And we usually just couldn't get into the right position at the right time. So.
You have glide though, so that helps quite a bit, right? You can just double jump glide to the side. That's pretty fast. But you really have to already be looking at his hands like ahead of time and not get distracted by, you know, the chain attacks, because that's like reddish on one hand, but that's not the one that you're looking for, right? You're looking for slightly like bluer and yeah, it's a different kind of red for the FMA. But yeah, the first one is pretty easy to remember because basically he has to do all the other patterns first. So usually he does spikes, and then he does the chains, and then one time you get the rolling and the whites, like pretty much at the same time the first time, and then after those patterns, that's when the first FMA roughly is. So then you really want to just stay close, kind of walk out of the eyes and, you know, dodge the chains, but really look very closely at him. But yeah, the eyes could be covering one side, and you just need to be screaming like middle, and yeah, just get there in time. Also try to not jump all the way into the corner, because sometimes there's like a hitbox slightly like on the edge itself. So you want to stay just a little bit away from the actual corners of the map.
Oh, you're saying the FMA, because every time I get blinded, my teammates tell me just get right to the corner right away, because it's only safe that you won't get hit by anything.
Yeah, I've seen people die like in the like basically hugging the corner. Like if the character is like basically pushing into the corner, then sometimes they still die. So you know, it's a weird thing. And so for phase 2 and 3, and then basically for phase 2 and 3, once you see the shield appear on the HP bar, that's when you know you can go back in and kill the boss. That's when the pattern is over. So that counts for the FMA in phase 2 and for the FMA in phase 3. It's good to know because in phase 2 there's like a second explosion right to the FMA that sometimes looks like the skill is over and then it activates again, which could be sometimes a little bit confusing. Like I've almost jumped into that. I think I've definitely jumped into that at least once. But as soon as you see the shield go on the bar, then you know that it's safe and you can jump through the pattern and go back and attack. Or in your case, just Chaos Lock and immediately start slapping it again. Yeah, blind and spikes together is usually, that's the most annoying pattern that can get you. That or you know, being floating in the right side because there's a bunch of stuff going on, and then having like, you know, 2 7 chain patterns in a row. That could be a lot. But we have a little bit of a benefit with glide because if you start high and then you get a bunch of chains, you can tank like 1 or 2 and then you can drop a little bit and then start gliding again and drop a little bit and glide again. We have that flexibility, and you know, other people who are just blinking don't have that, right? They have to like drop down and then they're on the ground and they can get all the spikes there, or the chains, sorry. But if you kind of lower yourself little by little, all of the chains are going to be like above you and not really hit you because they're coming in diagonally, right? Not vertically. So you can actually dodge if you like that. And you have your iframes, of course, so that if it gets too hairy, you iframe and get out of there. But you typically want to avoid being all the way tucked into the corner, so that really only happens if like all of the spikes are going off in the whole map at once and there's just nowhere to go.
Yeah, the glide, the mechanic of the glide is a luxury for our class.
Yes, yes, it's very, very useful.
Very.
And how are you with the will skills? Have you started using those a little bit here and there?
I find like the will skill, the use case, it's rather little because the damage ratio on it's not that big. The only
I don't mean the true right reflection. I mean like the demon's will and the Flora's will. Sorry, not Flora's. Urda's will.
Oh, you mean the cleanse, the second cleanse?
Yes. Well, yeah, both of them. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, that one. Second cleanse. I try to incorporate into my because whenever I see like if I will get hit by the second curse, then I'll try to cleanse it right away. If I under the condition, if I have all of my iframe used, I'll try to cleanse it. Yeah, that's the only situation I'll use it. But I'm still getting used to all the animation. It's still like information overloading on the screen.
Oh, you mean like all of the animations of all of the skills going on? Yeah.
I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, because some patterns are pretty easy. You just kind of like walk through them. But yeah, if there's 4 things going on at once, you still have to be like, okay, how long does this take before it hits? How long does this take before it hits? It's like doing C-Vel, but there's like, you know, like 6 Vellums at the same time, all doing tails and poison and rocks and...
Like each curse, I think it took 8 seconds to wear off. So sometimes I just counted 8 seconds before. Just try to get somewhere safe and then count 8 seconds before the.
Yeah, sometimes it's like gone in 4 seconds. Sometimes it can last 10 seconds. It's
really.
Yeah, sometimes you're like, okay, I got hit like 15 seconds ago, and the thing is still blinking up there, and it's just still there. And you're gonna take some deaths like that, but as you get better with the mechanics, you know, you can take a death or 2 like that. It's no big deal because you've got 12 and you've got Door. But in the beginning, every little thing can be like run ending if it keeps going, and especially those double deaths. Those are really, really brutal. So generally, the good idea is for phase 2 to really only use the will skill if there's what we call like a bad pattern, just like literally everything is going on at the same time. Sometimes the best thing you could do is just pop one of your wills, and then just basically the main thing you have to dodge still is the spikes, right? Because that's crazy damage. It's FMA, then spike, then everything else. As long as you dodge the spikes, you just press like the will skill. You just jump through everything, and then you can probably tank it, and then you don't take the curse, right? But then you kind of use it as a kind of like an iframe in a sense.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's like a longer cooldown iframe.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So it's probably like for phase 2, it's like, oh, there's just everything going on. There's like rolling. the rolling coming, and there's whites, and there's chains, and there's basically spikes in other places, so you can't really go there. That would be a situation to use one. And for phase 3, mostly if if the boss goes a little bit too far to the right, and you can't really, it's not really safe there anymore. But there's also patterns going on. Might be a good idea to use one of them and then just go to the left instead, jump through everything, and then kind of stay in the middle of the map. And they basically tell everyone else like we need to reset, and then move everyone else to the left as well. Let the boss move a little bit further to the left, and then go back on him and continue the boss fight essentially.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, it'll work itself out more with more practice. But you're feeling good with the practice, feeling good progress as long as you can get everyone together.
Like at least we see progress every week, so
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Okay. So, nice. So that's taking up your main time now, past leveling, or are you going to keep on leveling?
Because I kind of invested a little bit on my second main. I mentioned just a little bit on our last encountering. So I have a beast, like a 226 beast tamer I'm trying to fund. So like most of because for now all of my equips on my Demon Slayer, like every bit of upgrading, it's I have to spend pretty much all a lot, like it's like the stamina I will spend on upgrading each time it's exponential. So so I don't find that much of a accomplishment when I do like a small upgrade there and here. So
I see.
For example, like what I've seeing so far, my next upgrade might be my emblem. I want to put at least like three attacks line on it. But when I put the expected value of the misos that I'm gonna spend, it's around 20 bill. But when I think of 20 bill, I think it as a unit that how much time I will spend. Those money I can spend it on Beast Tamer. I might just get like all of my equips to stars, right? So
yeah.
That's a lot of time for me. So I'm just don't know which is the most I'll get from like what I will get the most out of it from for now for my Demon Slayer. So
like
so
the
you
cape,
can like, move over it, and then like which part that I'm missing that I could get the most out of it. Like for example, system, or like I think I just evenly distribute all of my hyper stats. I've seen the video that you made before regarding how to efficiently distribute the hyper stats, but I'm just too lazy to just put everything 10 on it.
I see, yeah.
Yeah. So
I think everything 10 and stuff is fine. But once you get like past level, I wouldn't say like 255, 260, you'll really see. You can really see convey my match. He said he's mad about your gloves. Yeah, your account seems like, is it a very old account because you got like 12-star tyrants? Is this something you did a long time ago?
No, this I started playing. I'm the explorer update genre player, so this account's only been almost a year. So this cape, it's when I started, I don't know what to really start for, so I just tap it. I got very lucky on this cape, so yeah.
Okay.
So just tap it to 12, and then I actually shut off some pressure on my arcane set.
I imagine.
Yeah. So just have one item less to worry about for now.
Yeah, basically until it's 22, it's probably not even an upgrade. So.
Yeah. So just keep it like that just for now.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, you would have to. Yeah, like you said, you would have to calculate. Like, is it even worth upgrading at this point? What are you gonna get out of it? Like a 10% boss damage line? That's it, right?
Yeah, I think I have to get 21 star to break even.
To break even, yeah.
To break even with my Tiring King, yeah. So
because of the
just
40
attack. It's not worth it.
Yeah, not right now. You have to go, and it's 3-line, and it's an okay flame on it as well. So it's like ticked all the boxes. And what's the deal with all the 20-star Will-O-the-Wisps, 22-star Lionheart Battle Bracers with auto steel. Was this like old gloves that you just tapped?
Yeah, this used to be my damage.
Explain yourself.
It used to have like 2, because I randomly rolled a 2 crit damage and 1 main stat on my glove, so I just decided just to make it at my main damage gloves for a while. So that's what I was, yeah. And then afterwards, it retired. Just became my miso farming gloves.
This one hit double crit damage with stat.
Before that.
Yeah, before this potential, yeah.
That potential, okay. It like 2 crit damage and 1 main stats.
And it's easy to get back up, so you decided to just Star Force this one higher rather than going for Abso. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then I think 10 lines of misos, no, 5 lines of misos and 10 lines of drops are all compacted in these gears. So I'm just, if I have to upgrade these drop gears, I think I have a screenshot on my next image. There's a 20-star.
Oh, there's more stuff. Yeah, 20-star shiny red warrior Meister symbol. I've never seen one of those before.
Yeah,
were you doing like full solo progression? What were you doing?
Before I'm a reboot 1-year player, and then I solo progression for at least 6 months before I get into the guild. So before then, I'm pretty much by myself. I just couldn't do hard will, couldn't do hard loot. Yeah, it's pretty much at that point it's all solo progression. So you'll see some weird items like
22 Fafnir, we don't see that too often.
Yeah.
18 star.
And the flames on that what's that? 140 weapon on that one that you're seeing right now. It's one of the weirdest flames I came across. So.
Maybe did it drop from like from a what's it called, elite boss, or from a Rune of Riches or something? Because that's for Utgard, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Just ended up in your inventory. That probably was like a rune or an elite. Yeah, suddenly you see like, wait a minute, what is this thing doing here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Looks like progression items from Maple Sea character. To me, it looks more like solo progression items. Although I don't know if I would ever go like fully 20 on like a purple bear pennant and a shiny red warrior Meister symbol. But I mean, even if you're not using those pieces anymore now, they might eventually have some use to, like, you know, transfer hammer into something. So
yeah, I transfer hammer to my my will what's that, Twilight Mark. Yeah, my Twilight Mark. So I think the Artemel system, like the crafting system, it's a good I mean, they are like friends, like buddies, like with each other, like the Twilight Mark and the Artemel system.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I totally skip Commercy, because the goal when my mindset coming into this game, my goal is just to get rid of as much dailies as possible. So I just don't do dailies.
I see. Yeah. That's why your symbols aren't maxed yet, huh?
Yeah. I don't do I heard that the next Kali update, they will make the games, that the mini games into weeklies, right? So weeklies, I'll start doing it afterwards. So yeah, for now I'm not going to deal with the mini games on my arcane.
Okay. And what's with all these droplets when you already have high Star Force Arcane? Did nothing blow up, or have you just been endlessly training in Limina?
I got very, very lucky with my arcanes. So
seems to be a pattern here. Okay.
My shoulder, 22-star shoulder, I think I only spent less than 3 or 2 bills. It's extremely lucky on my shoulder. Okay. But the rest of it, nothing spent over 5 bill or 10 bill, nothing. So extremely lucky with all of my arcanes.
Okay.
And then I think I only went through like 2 booms only, like 1 or 2 booms, like maximum, if I recall it right.
That cape is gonna be like 12 booms, dude, just to even out the scales.
Yeah. When I look on the calculator, do you look at the average or look at the memes, Boom? Because uh, if you look at a statistic, I think it's more accurate to look at the memes, right? Not at the average.
Yeah, if you're only doing one, I tend to look at the median, and then,
Like,
but if I do a whole lot of them, then I tend to look at the average, just because then the outliers are more likely to come in. So then I want to build a little bit of a buffer and be more realistic in the sense of preparing myself for the worst.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
You should probably look at minimum amount or something with your luck, with your track record.
Like I always like for now, for example, my superior Gollux ring, I kind of regret it. It's not regret, but kind of don't feel like that luck. Regret the luck to have like 3 perfect line on my show, because for now, like
and slime, yeah.
Just to get to 22 stars, I have to prepare 5 more Gollux ring just to ensure to get to 22 stars with those backup. Because before that I was thinking using like Meister ring and Kana ring to use those as my backup to even though I boom, I don't have to worry about the potential that much. So yeah, so like some items, it's just I don't know how to upgrade them efficiently. So
yeah, there's probably just multiple ways of doing it, and then it's kind of up to you what you find. Well, you want to avoid dailies, and Gollux is a daily, so.
Yeah, that's one of the dailies I have to get rid of.
Nice. Yeah. But at least, once you still have chance to get, is the earring? The earring is 22, yeah, but you might still want belt backups as well, right? To not have that cut into...
I kind of gambled my belt this week. I tapped it to 22 this week. So.
Okay. Now you can get rid of those backups.
Because, yeah, I have like 3 belt backup and like one more, and I have enough for 1 more with my points.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the main thing. It's either doing these dailies forever and like pre-buying them, and then potentially tapping perfectly on your first one and having them just sit in your inventory, do nothing. But for the rings, there's a little bit of a safety net, right? Because you might still need it for a transfer hammer for the slime ring if that one goes.
Yeah. For now, because I think to help to allocate the resource, to distribute the resource efficiently with my guild members, is just to give the slime ring to the guild member for now. So
okay.
just helping them to do the weekly bosses and give them a drop instead, just to have it for myself. Because jumping from 21 to 22, the expected value, it's like 1.6 more times of the effort, right? So like that much of time, it's to compare before 21 stars. I think it's too much time invested for too little the reward. Yeah.
But so you seem more content now on taking the time just to keep doing the dailies that you need to and the weeklies, and kind of more change your focus more towards the beast tamer, and then kind of see more like an event comes around and then see how many backups you got, and then based upon that see like which item can you realistically upgrade and which one is still too difficult.
Yeah, like beast tamer is my distraction for now. One important question is, do you see inner ability chart that you made when you're in your stream, and I see like you recommended buff duration on the second line. So why is that the case? Yeah, I just see that randomly on your stream once. So what buff am I really buff like?
Yeah, it's a good question. The because I looked into it. When I looked into it, I didn't know this was still what it said for Demon Slayer. As I looked into it, buff duration can be really useful for telecasting, for like teleforming, so you can keep your boundless rage up longer.
Okay.
And then you have less time of like
those, like the blue boundless rage. But boundless rage, I think it's it's a hyper skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think inner ability affect hyper skill.
Oh, is it hyper skill? Oh, I thought
Yeah,
that's
it's
what.
hyper skill, yeah.
Wasn't it blue blood?
Like,
No, it wasn't for blue blood.
but it becomes a toggle afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
From
That's all. Dark
I don't.
metamorphosis.
I think well, yeah. Metamorphosis. I
I
mean the
mean,
iframe duration increased like by 1/3 of like increase like by 1 second. I don't think that's a good
I mean, you could
because
use
usually
it. Well, the entire more like the buff that gives you percentage damage, right? So you would have to. You could use it more as an iframe and less as a rebuffer.
yeah.
But if it's
That's
only
true.
for Dark Metamorphosis, it's probably not worth it. You probably want damage
Yeah.
to debuffed, or even probably even 21 attack or 15% drop, right? Just to have an actual chance of getting pitched items.
Yeah. But I don't think pitch item it's in my radar, because like
I
each item
mean,
you have to get to 20, 21 or 22 stars
uh-huh.
on the
Well, it seems no problem for you. Just tap it.
because yeah, just tap it. But
Yeah.
I always look at the expected value, so
Mm-hmm.
you at least have to spend 3 years non-stop weekly just to get to like 21
Oh
or
yeah,
22.
it's totally
Yeah.
disgusting. But like,
Yeah.
in terms of the pieces that you have kind of like carte blanche to just like tap it all the way up and see if it goes or not. If it doesn't go, then it's cool. But if it does go, you know, if you on the off chance, you can make decent upgrades directly with the Black Bee mark and on the Twilight mark, right? If you do get a 22, it would be sizable enough upgrade. But yeah, you're not like expecting to get them every week, but you know that hopium is what keeps us going, you know.
No.
Yeah, the problem is you need so many pieces for it to really work. There's only a few separate pieces that will just work immediately, right? Like the emblem and the book, but there's also some pretty rare drops by themselves and the badge, I guess. But yeah, that's you guys all fighting over the badge?
Not really, because I don't. Because like I said, I don't really. I when I try to plan for an item, I always look at like from a feasible point of
Mm-hmm.
view, like how
Mm-hmm.
much time investment that like averagely people do in order to get to the point that I want.
Yeah,
So
explains
I
why
don't.
you don't have an Oz ring.
Yeah. I have like PTSD with the Zakum, like the old school Zakum jump quest.
I see, I see.
Yeah, so kind of not really into that because I always see like seeing my guild member struggling over
Mm-hmm.
the offspring on the Discord stream. So
I see, I
I
see.
think just seeing them struggle, it's enough. I don't want to put that
Mm-hmm.
misery on myself.
Yeah, it's just when you look at really like the value per upgrade and how much it costs and everything, something like an Oz ring is just on a completely different level of how much damage that increases for you. Plus, it would be very beneficial for your burst because you're very high on boss damage right now.
Yeah.
And like a roar would add a lot of percentage attack, right? So it would really balance out well with that boss damage that you have on your kit. Because I think you're at like 500%. Of course, there's a little bit of a event buff stuff going on now, but
Yeah. One
it's pretty,
question: Does
yeah.
do you get diminished return from boss damage? Because I don't really have a reliable source. Like seeing like do boss damage get like you get less more damage with every increment percentage you have.
Yeah, so yes, but like more is better, more is more. It does makes you do more damage, but there is diminishing returns because it is additive. So you have
Oh,
100% base damage, like that's not visible in your stat window, and then it adds the damage percent and the boss damage percent on top of that. So you're probably like when you're bossing, probably looking close to like 700, 567, like 750, maybe closing out on 800% damage. Which at that point, you know, if you add 20% damage and your total block of damage is already 800%, that's 1/40th, so that's like 2.5% final damage. And
okay.
you want to maintain the balance with the percentage attack. So in terms of, you know, like increasing your damage, you know, it's like double prime, right? Though on your weapon, and it's a 40.99 on the secondary. And it would really be a matter of just, you know, hoping that you get a rune force shield at some point, and then just like going ham on rolling on that and hope you get like full attack there. But you can't really use a rune force shield on everything, but on the bosses that you have mastered and where you can take that extra hit, you can, that will increase your damage by a lot.
I'm still hesitant thinking of really getting. I mean, it's like equip a Damien shield because it's just like you said. If I have confidence with the mechanics of that boss.
Yeah, it'll be more risky for sure. Yeah, but you haven't gotten one yet, right?
Yeah, no. I've seen it. Other people drops in my guild, but I haven't seen it myself yet.
Oh, I wish I could give you one. Like 5 now on my DA. It's kind of. I mean, in the beginning, all the characters that get it are characters that don't need it, and then, the first one takes a while.
What else? Oh yeah, one thing. Can you like scheme my familiars really fast? Because I just have questions that like what are the best combination I'll be using with in which certain situation? Because I have like a variety of familiars.
Okay. Hang on. Let me do a zoom in new tab so I can go a little bit closer. Bro.
Yeah. So.
You have a 70% boss.
Yeah, that's why my boss damage is very inflated. It's because this one.
What the fuck?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I need a moment. I need a moment. I have 0% boss damage on my character. I have 110 on 2 characters with large drop, and
yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, you want to get rid of that left one. It's too much, boss. It's not good. It's overkill. Okay, well this explains the 500 because I was like wondering where this shit is coming from.
Yeah, definitely, it's not. Replaceable.
Yeah, no. So you have large drop and 110% boss. It's actually unfortunate that it's a 40-30 because the highest amount that you can get is 120.
120, yeah, 120.
Oh, and a double 30 ID of course as well. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking which one it's like the best combination when I'm doing like the most.
Okay.
Is it double line ID it's better, or the one with the crit with the ID crit damage? I don't know like what's the best combination. I also have a like 5 attack and a plus healing.
And some healing, yeah.
Yeah. I think like every time a little bit healing, it's very helpful because it's just trying to keep you with the maximum HP at all. Like because Demon Slayer, it kind of consumed a little bit HP on its auto buff, so sometimes I just die from the what's that glooms, like the impaling, like the thing that just
the decent skills or
from this I don't know the tentacles that just poke you and then I just die.
Oh right, yeah.
99% damage, right? So the little bit healing just to keep me 100%, it's very very helpful.
I see. So when you're training, you're just using those bottom ones, right? It's like 2
the bottom ones, it's my
2 auto steals and the large drop. Although because that one has more defense. Although technically, you know, if the one with your Transcendion with boss, if that one levels up to level 5 and gets more defense than this one, then you can technically just kind of like decommission this one because the defense makes the bar go slower, right?
Yeah.
So if it gets more defense, attack and some party heal, large and small, large and allies. So usually 3 healing is like in the beginning when you're like more learning a boss and you just really, it's all about like surviving the patterns and just being in the fight longer to be able to see what you're doing. But once you get to a point where you know more what you're doing, the fact that you're hurting your damage a bit more and you're going too heavy on the healing will make it so that you will make the boss fight more difficult because it's longer. like phase 1, for example, of Black Mage is a good example, right? Like you can go all the healing to make sure that you know, if you don't kill it in one burst, that you can have a better chance like surviving with as many lives as possible. But if you just do more damage in phase 1, then you can get out in one burst, and then you don't have to deal with any of the mechanics. It's a good example of like damage is the best mechanic for that one. But sometimes, you know, after phase 1, people will switch, especially if you start losing a lot of lives, they'll switch more to just more lifesteal ones. More healing ones, just to stay alive more. But in general, it's mostly the supports that go for the healing fems on boss fights like that. And you'll really only use this if you're, say, like soloing Hard Will or soloing Hard Vihela, for example.
Okay.
That's
like soloing V, like the only times I will bring to healing fems, it's with Vihela.
Yeah.
The other time, or the will, like second phase will sometimes with two healing fems. Like only like those 2 use cases I will use healing fems. Other times I just bring 3 damage fems. So the question here is, do I bring
attack
the 2 ID or do I bring like the last 3, the top left 3 fems? Like which 2 do I? Which 2 of them do I pick them from?
Well, because right now you have an ID line on your emblem. You have to go through all the maths, but I assume... I don't know if ever 5% attack can compete with 2 lines of with like 50% IED, 30 and 20, unless you're already at like 99 because of the party buffs. Like let's say that you're partying with a bunch of other people that all like debuff the boss. Like there's a bishop there, there's maybe a Mercedes there, there's a... you know, maybe a DA there, like your effective ID is already like 99.8% or something, then the attack is better for you because you have so much boss damage in your WSE. But I think with familiars like these, the main thing you want to do is I mean, if I see this, like you want to use the Nameless Cat, like the 30-20, and you want to use these 2 on the right, the 40-30 and the 40 enlarged item drop rate. And then you want to basically completely redo your WSE, because these familiars allow you to just aim for the best of the best of the best when it comes to your weapon, your secondary, and your emblem. But because you have another secondary that you kind of want to get to, you probably want to focus on that one. But I think at this point, I would use a Nameless Cat and I would reroll my emblem, like, and go for 3-line attack on that.
All right. Yeah, that's my game plan too. Like my next logical biggest upgrade will be my 3-line attack emblem, and then going with this Nameless Cat. Yeah. That's also my thoughts before.
Yeah, if you want to know like the exact details of like everything, there's like a big calculator that you can use where you can put all of the things you have in there, and it'll just tell you like 1% of this equals 1% of this equals 1% of that. And if you put in the different scenarios, it'll just tell you this gives you this much percent final damage, this gives you this much. But if I see those numbers, I don't think you would ever want like a situation where you're not equipping those 3. Like I said, except for if you really need a lot of healing, and then you probably use the guy with 5%. But even then, I'd probably more likely be able to just use the double healing, just because 5% attack is nice and everything. But if you're really going for survivability, I would just go a little bit even harder for survivability and then just double heal.
Okay.
Because that's just so good. Unless your party's, you know, people who can get healed. You know, if there's Demon Avengers there, they don't care, right? So they can't heal in Frenzy anyway, so they're doing their own thing when it comes to HP. But yeah, if you put those 3 double healings in, like any kind of party is just gonna love you. But then, yeah, if you have one person with with triple double healing, it's like that's almost enough healing for an entire party. Like it'll be cool in the beginning, but you should never need that much almost in like an entire party. It just means that your mechanics are bad and you need to practice more.
Sure.
I wasn't aware though that it would say boss damage and damage to bosses, that the lines were different like that.
Yeah, the description, it's weird when I look into this.
And it's not aligned the same either. Like the D is like in front of the B, so it's like not...
I find there's a lot of typos in their familiars.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the outline and the typo, and yeah.
It's just, for example, their miso drop, I think, by 10% on...
Yeah,
on the,
that's obtained, but then stacks with equips. Yeah.
One of the they have.
Yeah. Yeah, and in general, the fact that item drop rate for familiars is separate from meso drop rate, and it's also...
that system, it's not transparent.
No.
I learned it the hard way. Yeah, I learned it the hard way when I get into this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, but that's what I would do. So I think your instinct there is correct. But if you want to know for sure, especially if you're planning on spending a whole lot of money, like min-maxing on your Genesis weapon in a bunch of like knowing exactly what you're aiming for, I think with this setup of this much boss and IED in your FAMs, that you're pretty much just looking for a 900 on your WSE. Even with endgame bosses, right? Because the endgame bosses go higher on PDR, but because you have your own 20% and you're gonna have party members debuffing, you can still go for the fairy potion with extra 20%, and if you get into high guild, you get more ID there. So I think you're always going to be set for ID with that.
There's one thing that I'm saving up is for my Genesis weapons on Soul. So I've been saving up all of the Soul shards on all the bosses. I just never really used them. So what is the best approach to use those souls to mine? Yeah, so just because I never bothered to look into that for now. So
that was actually last Sunday. Was actually 5x event.
Yeah, there's a 5%. Yeah, I do know that one. But,
yeah, so standard is 1% chance, and then during 5x is 5%. So basically, you just always hoard and wait for a magnificent event, and then just tap them all. The min-maxy thing is that you can, if they're not magnificent, you can put them all in the book, and then if you have the book page completed with all of the varieties of the souls, then you technically unlock the level 2 link for that soul. So if you end up with that soul on that character on your weapon, then the skill for that character is slightly stronger, but nobody really uses soul skill, so that's more like a cosmetic thing if you want that.
What does the level 2 link do with if I
so it'll do like slightly more damage or something, so you can click on it here, but like this one is like level 1 is 120 seconds, 1500% damage, 150-second cooldown. The level 2 is probably something like 1800% damage or something instead, and then that's it. But you need like all of the varieties and
more of a cosmetic thing. So do I get a other effect like animation if I do upgrade, or what?
I don't think so. No, I think it even looks the same. It will say like here in your beginner tab, if you have the weapon soul on, it'll just say level 2 instead of level 1 on the skill, and it'll do slightly more damage. That's it. And then if you open the soul collector, you open the book, then you have like the hidden second page that you can see, and then you can look at it, and then that's it. I don't think I have any on this character though. But yeah, there's like a hidden second picture. Like this is him like tinkering with a. Oh, you can actually see it here, but you see him like tinkering on a watch, trying to fix it and stuff.
Okay, all right.
Like Magnus. Like basically, you'll get this picture right here.
Okay.
Yeah, but it'll always look like this. The effect will be the same, so that's pretty min-maxy if you just want to see that. But the biggest reason is because of the SS souls, right? You want to try to see if you can roll, especially in your case, the 3% attack soul on your weapon for extra damage.
That's a huge gain. Yeah, I think I'm saving that for my Genesis.
Yeah, I mean, you get a decent amount of souls, but there's like 7 or 8 outcomes for magnificent souls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so it's either weapon attack, magic attack, all stat times 5, HP, 12 crit, 7 ID, or 7 boss.
Like every 200 souls, I'll have 1/8 of the chance to get one of them. So I have to prepare 1600 souls shards to get
7. 1400, yeah. So 7 here, yeah. So on average, yeah. So
I'm just doing the math very fast.
Yeah. But so that's between the Magnus, the Queen, the Vellum, the Cygnus, Lotus, Damien, Will, Lucid, Varishilla, Darknell. Those are the SS tiers, yeah.
SS tiers. So
yeah. So on average, yeah, every 1400 of those, you'll see 1-3% attack on average. Okay. Only during a 5x. So without the event is every 7,000. So that's why the event is so important.
Yeah. How long does it come? What's the rotation of the?
The general rotation I would say is like every other batch of Sunny Sundays, roughly. So if the last batch had it, then the next batch probably won't, and then the batch after that might have it again. So it's like every 5. So in total, batch is usually every 5 to 6 weeks. So like every 11 weeks or something like that. So like around 4 to 5 times a year. However, with Savior, it's possible if we copy the same thing over from Korea that we basically just have 1 week where all of them happen one time. So if that happens, yeah, if that happens, then it could be the first week of July again when that goes through. But we'll have to see that. I forgot Kalos and Kaling. True, Kalos and Kaling Soul as well. But yeah, good luck on those.
Yeah, those are still like a year.
Yeah, ahead. I saw Magnificent Kalos already, but yeah, those are pretty spooky.
Like die-hard player.
Yeah, you gotta be on that week 1 just to try to get those clears in.
Yeah. Also the totems. I tried to get 3 of the Shanghai totems. Like, what is the drop rate on the rarest one? I just couldn't get it. Like with like.
It's not good. From what I heard, it's like the second highest is like half the drop rate of the main one roughly, and then the strongest one is like a quarter to a fifth of the drop rate of the second one. Okay,
so it's like 1/8 of the first highest one, right? Every 8.
Yeah, it's somewhere between an 1/8 to a 10th. Yeah, somewhere around there. Okay. So if you get 10 of, you have something like 10, 5, 1, like, or something like that. 10, 5, 2 maybe, but probably around there, yeah. So I personally don't bother with it, but my characters, some of them have permanent totems, and then others, what a lot of people do is they'll just get the first 2, and then just get one of the Afterlands totems that gives your stat, and then just fill the 3rd slot with that just to save time.
Yeah.
You know, depends on how, min-max you want to get with that.
Okay.
Or they take like, 2 hours sometimes to go grind, and if they find a few, then they are okay for a few months, and if they don't find any, then they'll say, fuck it, I'll come back next month.
I do see your, what's that called? You quantify the progression, you define like which part of the game phase it's like for example, mid game, early game, like mid late game. The chart you have, yeah. And then in what aspect do you the meaning of the thing I want to say is you have the part says like the flame scores, right? And then in which index do you take in count of like, and what flame score it's suitable for each stage of the game? Because when I look into the flame score, and the more the score is, like, the cost goes exponentially.
Yeah, it goes crazy.
Yeah. So when I look into that one, the flame system, I usually take it like the average cubing misos that I will spend, and then I'll divide that into half, and then I'll translate that half of that miso into the flame score that I will put onto my equip. So that's the proportionality. The proportionality mindset I have to approach with the flaming system. So like, what approach do you use on this chart?
So what I'm mainly looking at is like, what is the bare minimum to. So the way the game works now, they're going to increase flame drop rate, at least in KMS they did now, so that's still a while away for us, but there should be a decent increase in weekly flames. The way it works now is that you get some flames here and there, like once you start building up your bossing mules and everything, you get a very good you get a decent amount. Yeah, maybe you get like 10 per week or something. Like I get something like 10 per week when I make like almost 25 bill a week on killing the monster. So the idea is kind of that instead of giving you more flames, they just give you more money, so you can spend it on flames if you want to, and you can spend it on other stuff. But the way I usually see the progression grid is that you want to spend a disproportionate amount of your time mostly on star forcing until you get very high, and then start working on the potential, right? Because then the item is kind of done and it's not going to boom anymore. And flaming is really just trying to get a good flame on your weapon, and then if you get flames, knowing like what is a good point to try to get to, but not one item at a time, right? So if you have 10 items that you need to be flaming and they all have like a 30 flame score, and one hits like 80, then you can move on to the next item basically if you're in this stage. But if it hits 40, you still move on to the next item. You just know that once everything is 40, you just go back to the first one and you try to get it to 50. So it's more like, where are your flames going to have some value compared to all your other stuff? But it's not necessarily spend this money to you have to get this flame score kind of thing. It's more like in the end game where your stuff is 22 and your potentials are 3 line. The only thing you can really do is like double prime your accessories and your WSE with like massive bright cubes, or min-max on your flames at that point. So I wouldn't really advise spending too much money on your flames unless you're like ending, like near the ends of late game and you're really, you know, trying to get your arcanes to good flames, or you're in the end game, there's nothing else you can really be upgrading because you're basically just in the pitched waiting room. So it's either double priming, talking about like like triple digit bills, to maybe even trills in upgrade cost, or then getting a good flame, because then comparatively getting a decent flame is actually becomes affordable.
Yeah.
Plus your potentials will be, you know, maxed out, so all the flames will get mass value from it as well. They'll just get amplified value there. I don't know if that satisfies your question.
Yeah, I mean, everyone have a different mindset approaching.
Yeah, it used to be weapons and things that you're going to transpose. I would say definitely spend on that, but because transposing doesn't carry the flame anymore, it's really just weapon. I think people would probably want to buy flames, and now it's just, you know, weekly bosses and event shops mainly, where we can get a lot of flames. And if you're later on in the game, maybe you buy them from the Legion shop, right? If you have like surplus coins there, and then you just have like a guiding number to kind of go for when you know for sure like this one's good enough, or this one still has a decent room for improvement.
Like for now, the way I'm using my Legion coins is I'm saving up for 5,000 for each time, and then I just buy 25 the black flames.
Yeah. I was doing that, and then I looked for my weapon, and then I looked up like what is the average amount of flames to improve it, and it was something like 1,300 black flames, and I was like, ugh, this doesn't feel worth it. So I'll just save my coins and buy out, like, you know.
Millennia to
yeah. I'll take a wall. I mean, if you look at, you know, if it's 1,400, you know, you can buy, what is it? You can buy 20 a week. It's like 70 weeks, but that's still like a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. You're looking at something higher than 8%, then damage plus some stat plus tier 7 attack. If you're trying to go above that, it's tricky.
I think there's just one last question. It's on my gamer. I think I asked you that, like, how do I allocate all of the all skill +1 resource onto my skill tree, right? So what is the amount of skill +1 line of stats I need in order to trigger all of the kit in my skill tree? Like as a passive in terms of passive effect.
Yeah. So let's see. So I'm gonna borrow a little bit from the Beast Tamer FAQ here. I wonder if I can just plop this on stream. Build it to 10, because they have an insane amount of information, so I'm just going to defer to this. Like, this amount of information is just ridiculous. Where is the skill level? Hyper skills. Oh, here, sources of plus all skills, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and it goes back down. Oh, here. So recommended is to use decent combat orders, obviously. Leave for hatching badge, again, because that goes at the expense of very little other thing, right? Opportunity cost there is extremely low. Hat potential, possible.
I don't think you can get. Hat potential. Okay.
Yeah, they removed it for something, but I think they removed it from the soul, right?
I don't think. Can you get +1 all skill on hat potential on Prime Line? I don't think so. I never seen the kind of stats appear on hat potential.
Let me check the see if you can check exclamation mark cubing, because this one should be up to date. If you have it in here, hat.
Like the train of thought, it's knowing like what sources I could get from. Then the second part will be like how many all skill +1 I need in order to like trigger all the 4 beasts in my disposal.
Oh, here, all skill lines can no longer be rolled on hats or souls, where if they were already rolled, then they have not been removed. Oh, gotcha. Okay, that's why they mentioned them. And then Magnificent, you can currently still roll +1 all skill for Magnificent, Nene, and Tutu souls obtained in a Hyperspace Cube achievement and boss drops. So I guess they're aiming for, if you want to min-max, you want to do this content to get these souls, to get like +1 all skills from them, because apparently they can still do it.
And Tutu souls. What are those 2 bosses? Never heard of it.
If you've ever seen them, it's like a red. They look like dinosaurs. It's like a red and a blue one. The blue one is like one horn, and the red one. Let's see if, I wonder. They should be on here.
I'm on your stream, so I can see what I mean.
Wait, Japan MS exclusive? They wouldn't be in here, right? Oh yeah, here they are. Here, Nene and Tutu. But don't really.
Oh.
Yeah, but they look like a little. Here, this guy, like a little dinosaur with like spikes on his head, and this guy's blue with some kind of like a turtle-looking dude.
In which part of the content in GM?
It says Hyperspace Cube, so that's the Interstellar Detectives, I think.
Is it in the mirror? In the mirror?
Yes, I believe so. Let me check.
Okay.
It's the simplest you would get the Kerr ring, I believe. Yeah, here, Hyperspace Cube. So it has those special rings.
Okay. That one. Oh yeah, okay, the turtle ring.
Yeah, and it is non-KMS content, so it could be content that's that will leave at some point as well. And I heard for Kalos it might be a good idea to just have a Kerr ring for Phase 2, because you can just get your ass smacked in Phase 2 entry without any recourse. So I'm guessing because comparatively, you know, the soul on your weapon doesn't do an insane amount of damage in your overall character, that might be a good source to get it from.
Yeah.
But I guess because they're not SS tier, it'll only roll up to +1. Empress Dragon Tail 5 set effect. Familiars are currently bugged, it says.
You can roll 1 +1 on familiars, so.
Yeah, but it says it's currently bugged, so maybe what they mean is that even if you have it, it doesn't work, maybe.
Really? Oh, I never tried it. I do encounter some that I never really tested on myself, so maybe bugged.
Maybe,
and then,
yeah.
The familiar, it's that one thing that really get on my skin. It's they will appear red if it says it's. The line will appear red if it says it doesn't really trigger the effect. It says like it reached to a cap, so it deny the stats completely. But some of them it just doesn't turn red and the stats doesn't show up. So the familiar system it's somewhat not very. First of all, it's not very transparent. Second of all, it's not. I think it's very bugged.
I see.
Yeah.
So it seems that the furthest people go is +4.
+4.
In total. So I guess that would be decent combat orders, the hatching badge, 1 on the soul, and then either. Yeah, you still have to have 1 on the hat, but if you don't have that, it seems like they don't recommend interoperability, and familiars don't work. So if you can get a familiar on the background, it seems like +3 is the best you can do now. So it seems like the only difference.
And also the Empress gear gives +2.
Yeah. They said that here. Yeah, Empress Dragon Tail set effect gives +2. So the main difference, I'm just seeing like what the difference in the build would be. Seems the difference would be mainly like 1 more, 2 more in bear, and some lower level skills. It seems pretty min-maxy though. I don't think you unlock any extra skills. No, you just full hawk, 2 off, full cat. You just have slightly more skill points in is it early, the late leopard? Just a little bit more skill points in the bear, what it looks like. Because I said, right, like with the, there's kind of like a cap on how efficient it can be, because you still need to put a decent amount of points in before you can unlock the next skill, even if you have a bunch of skill plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you unlock extra skills. It's just try to min-max your damage a bit more. So +3 or +4 seems very close. So you'll probably be fine with +3.
Yeah, +3 will be just fine.
Yeah, looks like it.
With all of the skill points.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So if you don't want to mess around with the with the souls and maybe the you know, the badge is too hard to get, you could just get the Dragon Tail set and decent combat orders, and you can be done.
Yeah, I'll just call it
by the looks of it. Yeah.
Those are the easiest ones.
Yeah, but it seems like it's very extensive in the class Discord. So if you have any other questions, there's a lot of good info in here because it is a complicated character.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because it's complicated. I think it's and also the mechanics of it. It's very versatile. So I think it the playability, that the fun aspect of it, it's there for me. So that's why I choose that class.
Oh, what's this? Oh, they even made a beautiful infograph. Look at that.
Well, it's on ad again. Hold on.
Oh. Yay, capitalism. Yeah.
Yay.
Animal rolls, all skills. Oh, it says new. Oh yeah, it says here new BTs have access to +2.
All skills.
Damage? Yes, we can solo Black Mage.
Because I think all of the damage, it all come from the burst, the initial burst of the whistling. So that's why I put so much emphasis on the all of the resources on the initial burst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Air ability, first line cooldown skip, bossing, boss abnormal, buff duration, pick 2, firing meso. Cooldown skippable are these items. This is pretty comprehensive. That's pretty nice. Not a huge fan of the font, but makes it a little bit harder to read for me, personally. Hyper skills, boost duos. Oh yeah, because you basically just have duos. Yeah, you don't really have trios. Potions and buff rotation. Solo utility. Oh yeah, this is the 35 magic and attack, 20% drop rate, 30 crit, 10% crit damage, 20 ID. That's why people have BTs on second PCs, right? 100% uptime, active, 40% damage, 2 attack speed, breaks cap, 30 magic attack, 40%. Oh, crit rates. Yeah, okay.
Those are the party buffs.
40% enemy ID.
Only party buffs it gives. It's the hawk and the cat. Those here.
Mostly, yeah, and then hypers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Burst buffs. A 30% damage. Oh, that's also for party. 20% final damage. Deheal, dispel, extra life, 40% more. DR 10 seconds, 30 cooldown.
Extra life, it also takes in count of the skip cooldown, so that's all.
Oh yeah, you're right, yeah.
You can get lucky to have like 7 lives in low
yeah, oh yeah, true, yeah. You just keep going. Keep throwing bodies at the problem until it goes away. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's pretty much all the questions I have. So, like,
Okay.
I don't know, yeah, like for each system, like, I don't know what I'll push even further to get the most out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, what you said, it's like my familiars and my 3 lines attack emblem. Anything else you can get a spot on? Like my link
Yeah,
skill.
I would. I mean, I would redo the hyperstats. It does feel a little like you are missing out on some damage there for that. I do understand not wanting to redo it every level, but like you said, it's going to take longer and longer in between every level up now, right? So it's not as... Wait, are you supposed to have this many boost nodes? Jesus.
Yeah, I just I do extra 3 skills on it.
Okay. And it's not cutting into... is that just for mobbing, or...?
For mobbing, like chaos, I do level up my chaos lock and
I see,
some
okay.
other really irrelevant skills.
Make sure that if you even like fart in the direction of a monster, it dies. That's
Yeah.
maybe
Even the
overkill,
bind.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Even the
A little
bind.
bit
Yeah, honestly, I can respect that. It's just another AoE you can throw in, dude. It's only every 2 minutes, but if you have cooldown skip or something, you can, you know, like on my DA, I have it for mobbing. I have it too, because sometimes cooldown skips, so sometimes I can use them multiple times.
On my bind, yeah, it's fun.
It's interesting to see with all of those nodes that the must-to-must is still not maxed though. You also feel it's so useless.
Oh yeah, one thing about the summon I have, the cat thing that you see down there. It says it have a damage reduction on a very specific time frame, and then I think it triggers randomly. Is that even worth it to use?
So it does 2 things, right? So it does damage, which is nice, and it blocks some damage. So for a certain duration, I think it gets 2 or 3 stacks. I think 2. And then it'll take a portion off of percentage HP attacks that hit you. So, but it's any percentage HP attack. So if it's like a little orange ball in like Lucid Phase 2, it'll lose on that. But if it's a bomb in Lucid, it'll also trigger on that if nothing else hits you first. So it's not as dependable. But between this and between your iframes and between the Goddess Blessing sometimes putting up a shield, right? Like between all of those, it does add in total to more survivability and maybe getting lucky and not dying to something.
So you're treating the cat as a like it adds up those like you said the blessings and all the iframes I have.
I think you mostly use it as a damaging skill, like for your just to improve your burst a little bit more. What I used to save it for, like a long time ago, would be like before going into Hard Will Phase 2, for example, just to try to scrape off a little bit more damage of the initial times I get hit, just to extend a little bit until I can get my first Moonlight and get my first heal in, for example. Okay. But I think once you switch to RFS, you want as many things taking damage off of you as possible. Rune Force Shield, right? So at that point, I think it'll be more useful that it will actually sometimes save your life, yeah.
So, is there any instance that really saved your life with? Can you?
I mean, if it was, it takes a percentage off, right? So if it would, there's a few things that would kill you, but then with the Must-Have, I can actually save you. The problem is just, it should have the same logic as the. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bowmaster with the Mirages that you build up, but they basically have the rule that they only trigger if it would kill you. Or if the hit that hits you is more than a certain percentage, then it only triggers. So I feel like that logic should be carried over to Must-Have as well, and then he have way more utility. Now it's just like everything in a boss is percentage HP, so every little thing that hits you, it's immediately like lost.
Yeah. Well, you mean by trigger, it's passively trigger or active? You have to be active and also be lucky that the duration that it also in those duration it also hits you with the percentage damage. Right?
Oh yeah, it'll be like a second buff on the top right when you activate it. So like one is just the damage and the other one is the chance that you get reduced damage. And then anything that hits you that does percentage HP, it'll take one of the scales off, and then if both of them are off, then that buff just disappears. So either the buff duration for that part of the skill disappears, or you get hit twice, which in most boss fights is like instantly.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right.
could be
Okay,
lucky.
so
The one thing I do want to mention though is that your Urda's Will, especially for Black Mage, and also if you're gonna do like solo Chaos Tenebris and that kind of stuff, having that one leveled up will severely reduce its cooldown as well. So then you can rely on it a lot more during the boss fight.
okay.
So leveling that one might be a good idea as well. Yeah.
Sure.
And I guess this is more minor, but I see you have your special skill is in a level 5 slot, but your Goddess Blessing is in a level 4 slot here. But I think it's level 5 now, right? Or did you?
Pardon, can you repeat that again?
I think that slot here that has your Goddess Blessing in, I think here is level 4, but I think you leveled it up because you were 274 here, right?
Yeah. I leveled
okay.
that up with my last skill.
Yeah, it would be weird for a special skill that doesn't level up to be in a level 5 slot, and another skill that does something not be in a level 5 slot, but that's just a temporary thing, so.
I thought it adds up a little bit more damage on the active part of the blessing, so I just decided that's the.
Oh, yeah, well, if you hover over the node, you'll see what the effective level is in yellow numbers, right?
Okay.
So it should be that if you hover over special, I believe it doesn't show you any augment on there.
I only reached level 25. Okay, that's. Okay, I'll look into that one. Alright, thanks.
Yeah, I guess if you're... It depends on how you would be training, but I guess the Urda Shower could help in the higher level areas. For training, where do you train now?
For now, I train in the Burning Library, the upper top corner of that map. Let me see what you got. Yeah.
Library 5 or something? 5 or 6?
I think it's 4.
Oh, 4. Oh, what? Yeah, it goes horizontal. 1, 2. Wait, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Burning Royal Library, section 4.
Section 4. Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll reach maybe in 2 or 3 more days. I'll reach another. Upgrade my other AUT. So
yeah.
So I'll be able to train at Sandblade with no damage reduction in 3 days. So I'll try.
Yeah, that's that'll be pretty big. Yeah, I don't know if you're just mainly telecasting, then it doesn't really matter for like the Urda Shower and the Urda Fountain, right? But if you're gonna get to areas where you can't really do that because you're just gonna have to hit everything 4 times before it dies, then the shower might some levels in the shower might help you. Just summons in general, it's a good idea, but yeah, you have plenty of nodes to spend on other characters, I assume, at this point.
Yeah, like I have 10k achievement on my nodes gathering.
Okay. I'm not sure I'm that high. Wait, let me check real quick. Yeah, achievement on just node.
I don't know the system have that achievement until
I have it. Yeah, okay.
I pick it up.
Oh, I got it a long time ago, dude. I got it on June 2021. You were still in diapers back then. You weren't even playing then.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know it was that high. Okay. Oh, cool. Some achievements seem impossible, and then you check, and then you actually have them. And it's like, oh.
Can I see like how many mobs you have? Mobs with your achievement.
Oh yeah, that's not very many. Is it just monsters?
I think you can just search the keyword monster with the capital M. Yeah.
Let's see. Eliminate 100 million year level. Oh, see, I'm at 34.4 million.
Holy crap! 34 million.
I mean, yeah, if you have a level 280 and a 277, you gotta kill some monsters, right? Otherwise, you're not gonna get there. I mean, Legion. I mean, you're over 8k Legion, right? So you've got to have a decent amount.
I'm hovering around like. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the questions I have.
Wait, hovering around how much? It cut off. I was waiting for the for the number.
It's around 20 mil mobs.
Okay. So it's over half. Okay.
So usually people kind of view that one as how many like the mesos that you have farmed over time.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, people who had like an active Kana farmer for a long time will have way more of that than I did, especially because proportionally they'll be an Arcana forever, right? On like level 270 Kana and shit. So yeah, for sure.
Back then, the Kana farmers.
Yeah, or even when they were doing bye-bye, you would kill so many monsters there. It was ridiculous.
Station.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I mean the savior changes are going to be really good for you because you'll be able to level the arcane symbols and the sacred symbols faster.
But my primary goal will be my arcane first. Yeah. Do you think by the way that Korean Maple thinks the way they operate, will you think will they ever reduce the threshold of like the sacred symbol, like to do Callus or those like those late game boss? Yeah.
Well, because it's still endgame content now, they want to make sure that people don't just like wander in, and it's really mostly for the people who are going really hard. But Savior is giving more symbols per day to Surnium and Hotel, so they are slightly speeding it up, and they're decreasing the cost per symbol. So short answer, yes. Yeah, they're slowly working towards that. I think the thresholds for the bosses are going to stay the same, but the amount of time that it's going to take to get to the threshold is going to go down. I think eventually, just like we saw with Arcane Power, we'll most likely see like a Sacred Power hyperstat, something like that. And there is a chance, because in TMS we're getting the Guild Castle content in July. In TMS it did also have a Sacred Power buff in there. So there is a small chance of that also, speeding up, because it's a huge time gate right now. You're definitely right about that.
Yeah, it's pretty much time gated.
If you're grinding super fast and you're going as hard as you are, then
at one point I just stopped playing for a year and come back after a year. It'll be more efficient that way.
yeah. I mean, you won't be as far as if you played the whole year, but your efficiency per time will definitely change a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think that's why we have a lot of seasonal players. Right, they play during the event, maybe another month or so, and then they kind of play another game, and then they come back on the next event because you get a hyper burn. You get way more efficiency of your time there. You get a bunch of quality of life changes, and it's always exciting to come back during a big update as well. But purely looking at the efficiency for your time spent to gains made in the game, playing around anniversary events, maybe anniversary, but mainly the summer and winter events, is definitely like good for your time efficiency, 100%.
Yeah, all right. I think that's all of my questions. I don't know if you have any questions for me. Or anything that you point out.
I would redo the hyperstats just because 10 in strength is just so inefficient.
I'll revisit the video you do on hyperstats. I do.
Yeah, you have some 11s, some 12s, and you might have a different. Do you have a different mobbing and bossing setup?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I have like 3 setups. One for Lotus without ARC, one for
right.
The one with ARC, the one and the other one with mobbing. Like
right.
Three setups.
Yeah. That's the 3 setups you want. Okay, that's good. Because I didn't know if for like bossing, if you really needed your Demon Fury to be that high.
Oh, because I'm just back then I have trouble keeping up my Demon Fury, so. That's why I use what's that shield? The Princess No shield. It also gives a lot of DF. Yeah, so I just try to get the most DF of my like in any way that possible. So so I put all the skills in DF. But afterwards, when I reconfigure my hyper skill, I think there's one thing that it says it reduces half of the cost of my what's that skill? Even impact, or let me check on that skill. It reduces half of the cost of my it reduced half of the DF consumption on my demon impact. So after I reconfigure that skill, it kind of
that made it a lot easier to maintain.
I negated that problem, so I might just get rid of those 10 DFs. Hyper stats that you mentioned there.
Yeah, then with that and the strength, and you probably have some 10s below as well, right? Like in attack and maybe in something else. All of that added together will be some nice damage. Again, for you, it won't feel like a huge damage because mostly what's going to go up for most people, what will go up is the damage and the boss damage, and you know you have like 16 million boss damage from your familiars, but it will allow you to go a little bit higher in critical damage, which is still decent efficiency because you're still under 100% in the stat window, so that will still be nice there.
Yeah, because for now, the skill rate rotation I do is I use Boundless Rage for my buffing, the initial buffing phase, and then after the buffing phase, I use the Blessing as my DF to keep my DF up with my usage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, I can get rid of those DF things after.
Yeah, I think you're 275, so you'll probably find that you can get like, I don't know, something like 13, 11, 11, or maybe even a 12 in there, something like that. Maybe even 14 and some 11s. It does add up quite a bit. All of those levels past level 5 start counting pretty hard. So, but other than that, I mean, yeah, other than that, it looks solid. I mean, I guess for Savior, have you figured out like who you're gonna hyper burn? Are you gonna Terra burn the Kali?
I'm not hard on myself. I was thinking to like really min-max to level up my Hayato to get the extra 1% crit damage, but by the way I'm playing, for now, like the tempo I'm used to, I might just burn my Beast Tamer to 250 just to make myself more make myself more enjoyable to play this game.
Okay, you're looking forward more to the the Moon Bridge and all of that kind of content and the Tenebris content rather than working your way up there again.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have like a whole bunch of like familiars from this character? Because I mean, he doesn't need them anymore, or she doesn't need them anymore. Are you like trickling those down to the Beast Tamer and to other characters?
The way I do my familiars approach on my Beast Tamer is I just open only blue cards.
I see. Okay.
So I have like 3 blue cards with 1 party healer and 1 line of IED. So that's the combination of all my Beast Tamer.
Oh, you can get the increases drop rate one as well from the rare cards.
Yeah. And also the second slot I have with the configuration is increase miso drop, and another one, the separate one will be increase item drop, just to dip the both 50% of each familiar. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, all we can do is just look a little bit more at your familiars. It is interesting how it's like 2 different wordings. Yeah, what a beautiful system.
Yeah. Like when I get this one, I kind of just jump off my chair.
Yeah. Understandable.
And then I post it on my Discord server to all my guild members. It's a shocking day. It's a shocking day.
Yeah, I saw one picture of a revealed legendary Princess No familiar, because I don't know if you know, but there's like a very small chance that it.
Yeah, it's small.
And it was a 50% boss, and I thought that was like in Reboot someone has that, and like that's like crazy. But then this one is just like shitting on that one. It's not even.
Wait! I don't think you can get 15% boss on blue card, right? You can.
No, on legendary card.
Oh, legendary.
So Princess No can drop a legendary, and there's a very small chance for Lotus as well to drop legendary card, and then Papalatus can drop unique cards. But yeah, the amount in the entire server is like less than 10. So somebody was like, and mostly people don't reveal it, because once you reveal it, you can't like smaga it that you have it, right? And then it's just locked on your character. So people just, because there's such a small chance for it to be good, people just keep it to smaga it. But I saw one revealed one with a 50% boss on it, which is, you know, amazing. But this is just other level stuff, yeah.
Insane,
yeah.
They just put all their luck onto that ability.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like not all your luck went here, because with your arcanes and everything, so it seems like it's all still going well. But yeah, don't change the winning team, right? If going more by the numbers and just playing it more safe like that, if that's working for you, then don't let other people tell you what you need to do. Just figure out your own thing.
I do like based off my backups, I do gamble a little bit. Sometimes I still fall into that gambler game fallacy. Yeah, I think that's the right term. So, like I do gamble on my shoulder to 22, my belt to 22, and also what else? I think those two, I do gamble to 22 without any backups. So, yeah, that's.
I mean, yeah, if everything gets lucky, then you're also allowed to kind of tempt fate a little bit on the other things, right? Eventually, it won't, even if it goes the worst it can. On average, you're still above average lucky, so who cares?
Yeah, like if you average it out.
Yeah, fuck it. Just like Hail Mary. If it goes, great. If it doesn't, whatever. At least you tried. Gotta have a little bit of fun sometimes, right?
I think the worst experience I had is I get like 16 to 18 booms before 20 stars. That's the worst I had so far. The luckiest is I think it's my
Your shoulder
dominant
probably.
pennant.
Oh, dominator.
No, like dominator pennant. I think I even transpose it with the Artemil system, so I get to 15 star to 22 stars straight up without filling, uh, including the transposing star, um, just without filling all the way up to 22 stars. That's the luckiest I had with my experience. So yeah,
wait, but it's dominator, so it's not transposed, right?
No, you can transpose with the 130 the transfer hammer
Transfer
system.
hammer, yeah, okay, yeah.
I can do it on the 130 recipe.
Yeah.
With the
oh, you did that one to 16 and then
do that one too, yeah. So
okay.
it reduced to 19 star and I have to tap it to 20.
Oh, 20. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's something that's possible, but that's also something that most people don't use, right? Like using the Black Beam mark or using the what you have here, like the Meister symbol. Many people don't really go that route just because of how much of a sidetrack it is. But you know, if it works, then it is worth it for sure.
I just try to negate all the booming possibility, just to the lowest possible.
Yeah.
Because just to get rid of those. Because whenever I get to when I do my Twilight mark, I get under 2 stars after 19 stars. I just redeem another shiny red warrior or Meister symbol.
Gotcha. So, yeah. The other one where people probably do like the same thing is if they try to go for the Source of Suffering, the Varus Hill pendant to 22, because you'll try to get like high Star Force Dominator, right? Transfer into the Superior, get the Superior to 22, and then transfer it into the 21 star source. And you know, some people actually do like, oh, if you tap the first 21 source and it doesn't go to 22, they'll just make a new 22 Superior to transfer it in just to get that 1 star again, guaranteed, not to risk booming 20 to 21 again.
Yeah, since the item's so rare.
It's so rare, yeah.
It's better off if you put one.
Yeah. I mean, when you're that far in the game, you have so few things to spend money on anyway, so you might as well mitigate the possible disaster outcome as much as you possibly can. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's that's the same level of thinking as for this one, right?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. Just try to get rid of the
different scale. Yeah.
It's definitely worth it to tap to, like the what's that? The 200 Eclipse, the level 200 Eclipse.
Yeah.
The boss set.
If you don't have Transfer Hammer, you just have to.
Transfer Hammer, it's the Source of Suffering, right? It's level 160.
Yeah, that's one's 160. Yeah, there's only a few where you can do it. That's the only one. So the other ones are all 200, or there's no item to transfer. So when you can, you go for it.
Oh yeah, one thing about the Gollux coin, I mean, the reset on the shop. It's how does it work? Do I just buy it and it resets for a month, or does it?
Every from Tuesday to Wednesday it resets in the shop, and then you can buy another one. So weekly.
Okay, so I'm thinking that I'll if I get enough of backup coins on it, and I'll do it on Tuesday, and I can get 2 backups in 2 days, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. You buy one on Tuesday and on Wednesday, yeah.
okay.
And if you buy them before the event and maybe on the event day itself, maybe another week has passed, and then maybe you can buy another one.
Yeah.
You should buy at least one, but sometimes 2, and then make sure that's before the week of the event so that I can maybe buy a third in case something goes wrong. But some people buy like 5 and then, you know, they just go all in. But like I said, with the glove, there is the backup for maybe helping with the Dawn as well. So it's not terrible to have some left over for that.
It just feels bad if just equipping a 12-star.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Yeah, for sure. Even if it's 30% strength, 12-star going down 9 stars is never a good thing. No. It's hard to see it as 12 and not as 21 minus 9.
I do see people go with like a reinforced Gollux ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
100 rings as their best, second best, third best in
third. Yeah, because it'll be slightly better than the Meister ring and the Kana treasure. But if you already have 22s there and you want to get your coins towards backup for superior, I'd be looking more for hopefully eventually like an endless terror from Gloom, or working towards Oz. As much as you don't want to do that, the gains from that at a certain point just overshadow every other upgrade you could be making. Plus it means that you don't have to worry about the reinforced ring as well, because it would just be like, you know, in between everything. Wouldn't make sense to go for that. Like your ultimate best in slot would be like slimes. Well, be slime. The ultimate best in slot would be slime, terror, high Oz ring, and then would be glow in his heart technically.
Okay, those are the best in slot for 4 and 5 of the best in slot right now. Okay.
Yeah, because superior eventually, you know, if you go full set, then superior would break down, which means that the superior ring itself would lose its spot to the glow in his heart as well. But you know, that's like theoretical best in slot, which no one is most likely going to get to, or you know, maybe like 5 people in the server ever. So, which is like no one. Okay. Any last questions? Last words?
I don't know. So I really just came in here because I'm your like a long time viewer for a while.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You like these sessions, or you watch the stream as well, or?
I mostly view your content on YouTube, the one you upload on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
I suppose like you watch like Team 4 Stars, like the way you sing the Ghost Nappa song.
Oh, you heard that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I heard that. And at TFS they just stopped like updating their content, so it's kind of sad thing.
All right.
Yeah, I think that it wraps it up here. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, thank you for the views on YouTube. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like the content.
Yeah.
And thank you for showing us all how shitty our familiars are and how good they should actually be. I'm sure we all have new goals that we're setting for ourselves now.
I do see the expected time spent on farming those familiars.
Yeah, did you look at the numbers for that?
Yeah, I do see those numbers, and then I reflected on myself, and I can tell that I'm extremely lucky. I don't know if I really added those times on these familiars. I don't know how much time I will be spending on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the realistic number, like
yeah, realistic is not this. Whatever this is, realism is like out of the screen in a different country. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That was a fun session.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome too, I guess.
Maybe next time I don't know if you will keep doing this or not. Maybe next 1 year, when my Beast Tamer get to a point, I'll just on your.
Yeah, I mean, I am loyal to a fault to whatever I start with, because I'm too lazy to find out other things to do. So as long as I don't completely go broke and destitute, I'll probably still be here. So you'll know where to find me.
I'll try to have next content for you with my beast tamer.
All right. Okay. Well, I expect big things now because this is setting
Okay.
quite a precedent.
All right, all right,
All right.
all right. It's time to say.
Yes. Time to say goodbye. But thanks for showing us everything, and I wish you good luck on everything. And hopefully, Savior brings you much positive benefits and all that. And I'll see you later, or see you on stream.
Best wishes.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye. All right, this was one of the winners of the giveaway for these sessions. One of the ones that I actually pulled right in the beginning of June, and I got the session done before the middle of June. Isn't that amazing? If you'd like to win one of these sessions as well, make sure you leave a comment on the YouTube video saying that you would like to win. Please include your Discord name so I can reach out to you. And you could be one of the lucky, I guess if you want to, people who gets one of these sessions. If you want to watch more sessions, click something on the screen. That'll probably show up soon. And if you want to request one for yourself, check the description of the video or use the coaching command over in the Twitch chat over there on the top left. That's where the live stream viewers are, and that's where they are saying weird things and yelling at you guys sometimes. So you can either be there, you can either watch the YouTube videos. Either way, you consume. Just make sure you consume, okay? Consume content. But yeah, I just these familiars are insane. Like, it's a nameless cat too. Like, how long has he been training on the nameless cat map to get a 20-30 IED? There's a 30 IED, 3 critical damage, 40 boss, large drop, 70. But this one is just so ridiculous, dude. And then 3 double heals, 5% attack, party heal, 2 7% auto steals, and another large drop. But yeah, like I said, at this point, if this one goes over on defense over this one, then this one doesn't even have value anymore, even though it's also a party heal plus a large drop. It's like, I'm sure if you figure out the numbers, this is like on average like 4,000 hours of like familiar farming. That might not even be enough. This is like the stacking like a deck of cards 3 times in a row exactly the same or something like that, which it's so ridiculous. But yeah, to see the WSE have that much damage, you really just know that full attack is the way to go for you if you have this kind of yeah, if you're almost hitting the cap on boss damage on 2 familiars, then and you get that, and then you get a 30-20 off the last one, even if like a 400% PDR, even up to 500% PDR boss comes out, you could probably still manage without a line and just with this. And in the end, if you do need a line, then just get your Saren emblem or line of ID or something, right? Like, fuck it. Thought this was a compilation of Reboot's best fams at first. No, this is just one guy's familiars. Yeah. God, but I mean, the amount of gear and stuff on this account is kind of ridiculous too. If you look at, because we could go back through this. This guy's account says he's a little bit over a year old, but like this is a nice collection of stuff. But like this progression gear is also kind of crazy. You got 20-star shiny red, 20-star purple bear. He had a 20-star, another one of these that he transferred into the Dominator, which is 22 now. Got like a 22, pretty good pot flame and everything. He's got like his 22 Lionheart bracers because these were double crit damage and a line of stat as well. So he kept those as his damage gloves all the way until Arcane, and then switched them into farming farming gloves essentially. There's a bunch of double drop meso gear here is pretty decent as well. And by pretty decent I mean like 20-star, 20-star, 22-star, like all fully starred up. And then there's of course like the random 12-star Tyrant Cape with 3 line and a decent flame rolling around. That's like 117 attack. You know, it's like an interesting account. Apparently he only spent 3 bill on his shoulder to get to 22 as well, so that's pretty nice. And he's got an all-stat line as a 3rd on his glove, so 20-star Black Bean, 21 Twilight Mark. He already tapped his belt, so that one's 22. But yeah, the only thing is really like the WSE. The WSE isn't bad at all. Like compared to where he is, this is pretty damn good. But everything else is just so nuts, especially those familiars. That yeah, you've got to at this point, it's all about re-rolling the WSE, but it's so expensive that it does make sense to look at that second character, look at that Beast Tamer, and see if that can first start capitalizing on the potential for gains there. And then you can always circle back to the WSE, because, you know, maybe you get a Rune Force Shield by then, maybe you get closer to Liberating by then, maybe, you know, some Saren stuff happens by then, and then you can see, like, okay, do I really want to spend all that extra money on these pieces, or do I just want to have these other things that I have on my account carry me over slightly and compensate for the slightly lack of 100% efficiency on these, and then move into those newer pieces and then just go ham on those and save your money, which I think is probably going to be the way to go. Millionaire? No, like the odds for that familiar, I don't know if Trillionaire would even be close enough. It would probably like Quadrillionaire or something. Just the sheer odds for this are just so horrible. Isn't it something like 25,000 familiars to even see one 40% boss line or something? Like, to have them together, just exponential, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's only an epic line either, and epic lines are like shit, so... You can probably live with this weapon? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he can live with all of this, yeah. But the question is more, can you live with it, but do you want to stay with this stuff for 8 months longer before you get to make an upgrade? That's more the question. Alright, well, thanks for checking out the session and for being in awe with me of this familiar, which is just going to stay on my screen the whole time. I mean, and he still has this one too, and this... These are just all so good, but yeah. Mission accomplished, they got to shut him off, so... You have a 30, 20, and 1, and know a few people, but I would assume 40, 30 line is even low. Yeah, it's nutty. You could check out the weight, like we could math it out, but I think it would just be too depressing to see those numbers. But yeah, thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you either live on twitch.tv/Scardor, or I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for checking it out. Peace!